Hi, this is Terrence. Alright, let's go through the procedure one more time of what occurs when a human being consumes salvia. Alright, so realize that you as a being in this very moment exist within and as a mind consciousness system within and as a human physical body. The mind consciousness system is within a actual manifested structured form, such as, for instance, a building of and as a home. Now, within and as the mind consciousness system is the center source point, which is primarily, or part of the role it plays is to sectionalize the unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind to ensure that you remain existing within the conscious mind while your subconscious and unconscious mind is actually the directive principle within and as you and your world. Now, within the intake of salvia, what occurs is in that moment you consume salvia, the experience with regards to the mind consciousness system within which you exist is as though it is taking its first breath of life after experiencing literal suffocation, and it's an explosion of for within and as the mind consciousness system. Then the set construct of and as which salvia exists as the very foundation design thereof interjects straight into that source core center point within and as the mind consciousness system. And then the compartments which sectioned the unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind into three separate parts literally opens up, and a flood takes place where the unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind literally merge as one. Alright? And then you basically experience you within and as the mind consciousness system as a super mind. The next stage, what occurs specifically with salvia, is the entire mind consciousness system manifestation within and as the human physical body becomes fluid. The best way to describe is imagine yourself being a house, a building, a constructed, manifested building. All of a sudden becoming fluid, becoming liquid, and just collapsing and then flowing. Now this is exactly the experience of the mind consciousness system within and as which you exist on salvia. And then it's just a complete let go, but yet within a limited, constricted environment as the human physical body. So when you take or consume salvia, you, within and as the mind consciousness system, you experience that which the mind consciousness system experiences. So you literally just collapse and flow and let go with and together with the experience of and as the mind consciousness system. So this is what occurs and takes place on salvia. Salvia specifically manifests the fluidity of the mind consciousness system, where the mind consciousness system becomes liquid and no more a foundation structure upon which it was established within and as the human physical body. And then as you come off of salvia, what occurs is literally the mind consciousness system that has now become liquid and fluid within and as the human physical body, together with you, of course, experiencing what the mind consciousness system experiences, becoming liquid and fluid, is as you come off of salvia, as salvia starts wearing off, your mind consciousness system literally starts placing itself, reconstructing itself within and as the human physical body. And that's when you're kind of coming back to reality, if you want to call it that. And the mind consciousness system does this through memory, interestingly enough. It's like as you're coming off of the salvia, as the salvia is basically released within and as the human physical body, well, the effects thereof, as it can only last for so long, the mind consciousness system within and as which you exist utilize memory within and as the human physical body within the cells to reconstruct itself as it was, and that's when you come back to reality. So the entire experience on salvia is an experience of the mind consciousness system. That first moment, as if the mind consciousness system had been suffocating and now experiencing breath for the first time, and then that absolute release that is experienced when you breathe after experiencing suffocation, after you've experienced suffocation and you breathe, it's like an absolute release that's experienced. And then the next stage is where the entire mind consciousness system becomes liquid, just fluid, just flowing and just letting go within and as the human physical body. Now what occurs with regards to salvia in consuming it and taking it is the mind consciousness system within and as you, within and as which you exist, upgrading itself to become more extensively ingrained and manifested within and as the human physical body. And literally every time you take salvia, what occurs is you take literally 3 to 9 months from your life. In other words, you will die sooner the more frequently you take salvia, and of course the extent to which you're taking it. Because the mind consciousness system within and as you doesn't understand what the fuck is happening, and what it does is to make sure that it doesn't happen again is try and infuse and literally integrate itself within the human physical body more and more and more aggressively and extensively. And within this literally seeping nutrients and muscle tissue within and as your human physical body and your skeleton, literally seeping out substances from within and as your human physical body to ingrain and manifest itself absolutely within and as the human physical body. And within this, literally taking 3 to 9 months from your life, dependent on the extent and how frequently you take salvia. So stay away from salvia. This is what occurs, this is what happens, this is the effect, and this is the consequence. All right, time's up. Thank you very much. This is Terrence McKenna.